Hey guys, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. Today I want to recap how things went with my January goals and plans for February. So for those of you who might be new to the channel, I really enjoy doing goals videos for a couple of reasons. First of all, it keeps me accountable. If I know that I have told you guys my goals and that I'm going to be reporting on how those goals went, I am more likely to really push to try to achieve them. And second of all, I hope that it provides you with encouragement and motivation as you are working on things on your own. Now, I have 6 overall categories that I make goals in each month, but one of them is related to work and business, and so since that's not pertinent to most of you guys, I leave that one out in these videos. But my other categories are a faith personal category, a health category, home and garden, family relationships, and homeschool. So I'll tell you kind of what my goal was, how it went, plans for the next month as we go through. So let's start with homeschool. One of my homeschool goals was to do a big block of prep, and that is something that I've tried to be consistent with doing. I did it, in the summer, kind of middle of the fall, and then Christmas got busy and I did not do it. So before we got back to our homeschool year, I got 8 weeks of school prepped. And what I mean by that is that I copied out tests and worksheets. I gathered lab supplies. I made sure that books were pulled. I started reading ahead on the next round of books that I'd be assigning my kids. We do, like, all these books behind me here are for their literature-based courses, so I want to read what it is I'm going to be assigning them. I looked ahead and I checked out what kind of things we were going to be looking at in the different courses, so I would be prepared to help with that. And it just felt really nice to get that done. So I got, since we started kind of like the, second week of January, we're covered until middle of March. So sometime in March I'll do probably sometime as we get close to the beginning of March, I'll do another block of 8 weeks out. But it just felt so good. And to go into each school week knowing that everything's just all ready to go, and all I have to do is print out their planner pages and pop them in the book, and it's a nice stress release right there. The other thing was to give my daughter some time for her SAT prep program. So both of my kids are doing like a food science course together, but my son had gotten a bit behind. And then rather than have my daughter moving ahead in the curriculum and then having him doing the curriculum but several weeks behind, I thought, well, we'll pause her. We'll let him get caught up, and she can use that time each day to focus on her SAT prep program because she does an online program. And that has been really nice, I think, for everybody. My son's still working through his curriculum and getting caught up, and we've probably got about 1 more week and then she'll restart hers. But she has just been using that time during the school day to spend about 20 to 30 minutes doing focused SAT prep. And it's just good because she knows that it's coming up. She knows that there's only a few months left to, be ready for it. And this way she's not trying to scramble to find time in the evening or on the weekend to do it. She can build that right into her school day. So that's been really nice. For February, I have 2 goals. One is pretty simple and the other one's a little more complicated. But the first one is to actually register her now for the SAT. It looks like test dates are available in March or May, and she is wanting to do it in May. So I just need to get on and get her registered, make sure we know where it's going to be at, pay the registration fee and all that. So that should be a pretty quick thing to do. And the other part is to work on curriculum and elective research. So I've been posting a video series kind of taking you guys along as I kind of plan out for next year, like how it is I map out courses and choose curriculum and all of that. And if you saw the video that I will have put up before this one, we've kind of got the classes chosen, but now it's time to research the actual curriculum and kind of pick some things or get it narrowed down. And part of that is I've got these ideas for electives for my kids that I'm not 100% sure that there's an actual curriculum out there for it. And if there isn't, then what is it that I can start to pull together to create that elective? Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to get it all the way done in February. I think that would be a crazy expectation, but at least start doing the research on it. So that's the homeschool goals. In home and garden, I had one goal, and that was to clean out the gosh awful storeroom down here in the basement, kind of the bonus room, the room of embarrassment. It was so bad. I mean, I showed it to you guys on the last goals video. I mean, nobody could watch that video and not say it looks terrible. It looked terrible. And so I wanted to get that room cleaned out and organized. And I actually ended up taking it a step further, and I gave that room a whole refresh, like flooring, organization, painting. It looks so different now, guys, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I filmed the process as I did it, and that will be coming in an upcoming video to show you what I did to remodel that bonus room. But I was on a pretty tight budget to do it. So how is it that you can revamp a room like that and make it functional and make it organized, but not, break the piggy bank in the process? So, I mean, I was working right up until January 31st on that room, because I told myself, I was like, this is going to be done. It will be done by February 1st. And by golly, it was. And I'm so excited. Feels so good. So February, now that I have that room done and all of my seed starting equipment is set up in there, February officially starts seed starting season. So my kind of two-part goal for February is, one, I need to get my gardening journal updated. So I have a planner and like a 3-ring binder that I use to record like the plants I have out in the garden, how things go, keep track of things. But part of that is I have a calendar in there saying the ideal start time for different types of seeds, because some things need like 16 weeks before they can get planted out, and some things need 4. So getting them on the calendar, and then there will be some things that I need to get started in February so they have time to start to grow and put on some good growth and strong roots before they get transplanted out into the garden. And I'm so ready. I'm so ready for spring and gardening season. Oh, I can't explain how anxious I am to just get back outside. But I've had seeds coming in. I've ordered so many seeds. It's so bad. I think I had 17 different flower seeds come in just yesterday. So yeah, the garden will be pretty this year. So I needed that space. But that is home and garden for February. All right, relationships and family. One of the goals was to book college tours with my daughter, this time in state. So we had done a road trip where we did 5 college tours in the span of a week down in Texas. And so now we're looking at in-state schools. So we actually got 5 more college tours booked, and we ended up doing 2 of them in January. We did one that's right here in the city where we live, so that was really easy to hop over there and do that one. That was an interesting one because the campus was actually still closed for Christmas break when we went on the tour, so there was nobody there, but it was good and it was really informative. And then we did one down in Indianapolis, which was by far our most helpful college tour to date, largely because of the amount of time that the admissions counselor for the actual school within the university that she was interested in spent almost an hour talking to us about the majors and school requirements and transfer credits and all of that. It was an incredible visit, and we really, really enjoyed it. And I think that really impressed her as far as the school as well. The other ones we have booked, but we've spread them out a little bit further. So I think we have 1 in February and then 2 in March. And so we'll just kind of see a little bit at a time. My other goal was to book a date night with my husband, and we failed at that one. That was our one failure in January. We did manage to go to multiple basketball games and watch our kids play together. So I don't know, does that count? We spent those whole evenings together cheering on the kids and eating cheap hot dogs and bad popcorn. But we didn't do like a dinner out or a movie out or anything like that. And so I still really want to do that in February. I mean, it's Valentine's Day month. We should go out. So we still need to do that. We tried. It was kind of a heavy basketball month though. So, there was that. My other goal for February is to celebrate my daughter turning 17. So her birthday is this month, and 17, 16 is such a huge year, right? And then even 18. But we want to have just a really special celebration for her turning 17. We're planning to do like a big family kind of dinner, have everybody over, and she's already given me some inspiration ideas on what she'd like for a birthday cake, because each year she comes up with something new that she likes. And since I do a baking business here from home, I let them pick whatever they want. Like last year, I'll throw a picture. Last year, she had me do a Spider-Man cake, which I thought was really funny. And it was red velvet with cream cheese frosting. And she goes, I want red velvet. I want cream cheese frosting again. But she wants something Taylor Swift inspired. So that should be a lot of fun to do for her. So those are the relationship family goals for February. In the health category, one of my goals for January was to drink 32 ounces of water a day. And some of you might say that sounds really low. But I explained in that January video that I have just never been a fan of drinking plain water. I always gravitate towards diet soda or coffee or tea. And I know I need to drink more water. And so to help me out with that goal, I actually ended up purchasing this cup. I'll throw a picture up here that I got off Amazon. And it has like that hollow center where you can put different things to help infuse your water. A lot of you sent some great ideas for different things to mix in, like electrolyte mixes and things like that. And I took your suggestions, I wrote them down, and I want to research them a little bit. I have to be careful with certain electrolytes, particularly if there's potassium in things, because I have a history of a heart arrhythmia. So I have to watch how much extra potassium I take. But I really appreciated you guys giving me those suggestions, and I have been starting to do some research, and hopefully we'll try some in the future. But for now, I have been doing different types of fruit infusions. So sliced up lemons, sliced up limes. I've really enjoyed putting raspberries in there and having just like that little raspberry flavor to the water. And that has really helped. So I only had 3 days in January where I actually didn't meet the 32 ounce goal. And I think they were days that I was sick. Because I didn't feel like doing anything. I just wanted to like lay there and die. I was kind of down for the count for a couple of days again. But for the most part, that's been really helpful. The other thing that was really helpful with meeting my water goal was making diet soda hard to get to. So I bought a smaller case of it when I did the grocery shopping at the start of the month. But I put it out in the garage in the far corner. So if I wanted a diet soda, I had to go out into the freezing cold garage, because we had like really cold weather in January, and I had to go to the far corner and I had to get it, which meant I felt like I had to put my coat on, I had to put my shoes on and walk all the way out there. And so because it wasn't convenient for me to grab, I just didn't grab it that often. Like if I felt like I really needed like the caffeine kick, I would go out and get one. And when I was working, I do the night shifts as a nurse. So if I really needed it to like keep me awake at night, I would grab one. But because it wasn't just right there in the pantry or in the fridge where I could grab it easily, it made me turn to water instead. And in fact, right now we don't have any diet soda in the house because that case is gone. And I told myself I'm not going to buy another case until, I do the first round of grocery shopping for February. So I'm going to definitely try that. So one of my goals for February is I'm going to bump up that goal a little bit. So I'm baby stepping here, guys. Baby stepping. So I'm going from 32 ounces a day to 36. So that's the new goal, 36. Hopefully I can do it. My other goal for January was to research some new skincare routines to help with my going on 40 skin, and the fact that once summer hits, I'm outside all the time. I not only got things researched, but I purchased them. They came in really quickly, and I have been using them pretty consistently for the last couple of weeks, and I am really liking all of these things. So I wanted to show you what I got. Now, a lot of it comes from the Honest brand, which is Jessica Alba's company. It's where I actually purchase most of my makeup from. I really like their products because they're clean products. There's like a huge list of things that they will not put in any of their makeup for, concerns on safety and things like that. So I like that. And they do the same principles with their skincare. So Let me see if I can remember the order here, and I'll show you everything. So in the mornings when I'm showering, I wash my face initially, and I use their Gentle Gel Cleanser. And so I just keep it right in the shower. I give my face a quick wash, and then when I get out of the shower, I put a serum on. This is Daily Green Juice Antioxidant Super Serum. And we'll see if the camera will focus in. There we go. So it's got different vitamins and antioxidants in it, just a couple of drops around my face, and then I rub it in. So I do that every single morning. The other thing I've been doing every morning, and I actually do this every evening as well, is I put on an eye repair cream. I chose the CeraVe eye repair cream. It's a teeny tiny little bottle, but it does not take much at all, just a tiny little bit. I have always liked the CeraVe brand. I use a lotion that they have that is meant for eczema, because I've struggled with eczema my entire life, and in the winter there's always flare-ups that happen. And my skin tends to be fairly sensitive to a lot of things. I can't do stuff with scents and things like that. And CeraVe is a great brand for those who have sensitive skin. And it's particularly because this is meant for like under the eyes and around the eyes. That's already a very sensitive area. I wanted to be really careful with what I chose to use. But I have always struggled with like the bags under my eyes and like the puffiness and whatnot. So I have been putting this on under my eyes in the morning, and then I do that again in the evening. And then the last thing I do each morning is I put on the Honest Hydrogel Cream. So this is the moisturizer. It does not take much. A little bit goes a long way, and I don't know if it'll focus. There we go. And I put that on all over my face and like the upper part of my neck as well. Now at night, the routine is a little bit different. So every night I wash with the Magic Gel to Milk Makeup Melting Cleanser. Like, they couldn't make that any easier to say. So this is fantastic. It gets all of my makeup off, all of it. And I have like that, you know, the mascara that does not ever come off. But this gets it all off. And my skin feels really good after I do that. So I do that. Now, I do the eye cream. 3 days a week I've been exfoliating. And boy, this one, wow, this was a splurge. I'm not going to lie. This is Tatcha brand, the Rice Polish Classic. So it is a rice-based exfoliator, or like a rice powder. And it does not take very much of it at all. But it pops open, and I'm not going to pour it out because it's so expensive. I mean, this was expensive. But you pour out a little bit of this, and it comes out looking kind of like a little white powder. You add a little warm water, and when you start to rub it in your hands, it kind of foams up. And when you use it, when you put it on your face, you can feel that it's exfoliating your skin, but it's not super harsh. You know, like there's some exfoliators where it feels like basically you're taking sandpaper to your face. This doesn't feel like that. It's made in Japan. It says Japanese rice powder, and I mean, it's been really nice. So I've been doing this 3 days a week. I've just been going like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, using it, and a little bit goes a long way. Like I said, this is a little bit on the pricey side, but I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. But I have really liked that. So I do that 3 days a week, and then 2 days a week, and this I spread out a little bit further. So I've been doing this on Tuesday, and then like on Tuesdays and Saturdays. This is Honest All the Feels Resurfacing Peel. Now, I did not use this the first week that I was using all these skin products, because it said to, you know, kind of get on your regular routine before you do this. But I used it twice last week, and it basically is meant to take off like that layer of dead skin. When I first put it on, at first I thought it was going to start burning, because like you felt that tingle right off the bat, like that initial tingle, but that went away super quickly. And you put it on like a thin layer, you leave it on for about 5 minutes, and then you wash it off. And in fact, I did it last night. Last night was one of the nights I did it, and man, like my skin just felt so different afterwards. I don't know how to explain it. Like I just really, really liked it. Like, I don't know, it just felt refreshed. Maybe it's just because all that dead stuff was off. But that is the resurfacing peel. And then when you use that, the resurfacing peel, if you use that, you're supposed to avoid anything else that's like acid-based or retinols for 24 hours. So on the 2 days a week that I use this, I do not use any retinol cream. But the other 5 nights a week, I use the Honestly Pure Retinol Serum. So just similar to how I do the serum in the morning, a little bit of this all around my face and wipe that in. And then I end with the same moisturizer that I use in the morning. So I went from washing my face and throwing moisturizer on to this whole little routine. And it's kind of taken me a moment. Like I have to set it up on my bathroom counter so I like remember like what order I'm supposed to do things. But I'm really liking it. I'm really liking how my skin is feeling and how it's looking. I've just quite enjoyed having that routine. So I wanted to make sure I shared that. I will link all of this stuff down below for you too. In fact, if you go to my Amazon storefront, which is linked down below as well, I have all of these saved as favorites in the beauty category. So you can check that out there as well. So yeah, I already told you that for February I want to do 36 ounces of water. My other health goal is really more for mental health more than anything else, and that is to get some outdoor time. December and January kind of stunk weather-wise here in Indiana. It was wet and cold, and then it was brutally cold. Like we had like the ice storms and everything. And February is always kind of hit or miss in Indiana. We'll get some days where it's really nice. It'll get like 50 degrees and the sun will be shining, and then we'll have like gray days for several days in a row. But the winter blues are a real thing. And especially when you're someone who's like an avid gardener and you're used to being outside, it can get really depressing really quick to be inside all the time. So I would like to try to get some good quality outdoor time in as much as I can, especially on the nice days. So if we have a nice sunny day, take the dog for a longer walk. Go do a walk around in the garden and map out, new garden beds. Maybe do a little bit of pruning here and there on things outside. Throw on a jacket, sit on the porch and read for a little while in the sunshine. I mean, can I be out for super long when it's not super warm? No. Can I get outside for a little bit, a couple days a week? Yeah, and I feel like that will do a lot of good for just mental health and attitude and stress and all of that. So I really like to do that in February. All right, last category is faith and personal. So one of my goals was to get started on a new Bible study, and I did. If you recall, I mentioned that I had purchased this book. This is from Daily Grace Co. It's called Praise, A Walk Through the Psalms. This covers Psalms 91 through 120. It's a part of a series that they have. Each book covers 30 Psalms, and I had bought this one and realized that I hadn't actually finished the book before it. So I finished that one and then started this one. And I love to study the Psalms. If you need something that's just going to, I don't know, just be uplifting for your heart, you should study the Psalms. We sing a psalm each week at church, and Psalms were meant to be done with music, and we always say they were prayers that were meant to be sung. And I find myself almost sometimes like sitting there and reading them and kind of like humming out a tune and almost kind of singing it, because I have no idea how they were sung. Most people don't know how they were sung because that's been lost over time. But there's just a beauty to like the poetry of them and the rhythm of how they're written and everything. And the other thing I've been doing is earmarking different Psalms in my Bible for different occasions, because there are Psalms for when you are sad, angry, lamenting, happy, concerned, stressed, joyous. I mean, there is a Psalm for almost every emotion you can feel or every situation. And sometimes, and I don't know, maybe some of you struggle with this, sometimes when I'm praying, I struggle with what to say. Like, it doesn't feel like the same as just having a conversation with a person. Sometimes I feel like I have to structure prayer right, and I know I don't, but sometimes it's just hard. It's hard to put into words what I want to say. And when I have times like that, I like to look at the Psalms that I've marked. So if I'm feeling particularly upset about something, but I'm not quite sure how to put that into words in prayer, I will find a psalm that I've marked for a time of sadness, and I will pray that instead, because I know that it's conveying to the Lord what it is I'm feeling, and that's just been something that's been helpful for me in my prayer life. So I've really enjoyed going through the Psalms and looking forward to continuing to work through this book. I have also been reading through the Bible. I started at the very beginning and have just been working through. I read all of Genesis, all of Exodus, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through Leviticus now. Kind of slowed down on Leviticus, and if you've read Leviticus, you know what I mean. But hopefully I will keep working on through that. And then my other goal in January was to get a head start on reading, and because I have a goal of 100 books a year. I had shown you a couple of books that I had read. I think I set my goal at like 8 books. I got 7 done, which I still think is pretty darn good. 2 of them were books that my kids are going to be reading in school in the next couple of weeks. It was for their chemistry in the kitchen course. I read one called Pandora's Lunchbox, which is all about how processed food has really exploded in America. And it's a great book and lots of good research in it, lots of good information. It's going to make you want to throw everything in your pantry out and make everything from scratch from now on. It was very eye-opening, and definitely kind of has me thinking about things a little bit. But Pandora's Lunchbox, great book. And then the other one was called Stuff Matters. And that was just an interesting way to teach about the chemical principles of different materials, from paper to cement to steel to chocolate, and so on. But it's written more as a narrative. Like it read like a story, but then all of the scientific information is worked into it. So it was a fun read. It was a fun read and very informative. So even as somebody who was a chemistry major in college, I was learning a lot of cool stuff in there. So that was good. Personal books were all kind of hit or miss. So a few that I really liked. I read As You Wish, which is the story of like the making of The Princess Bride. Absolutely fabulous book. Fabulous book. Fun read. It's hilarious. It's heartwarming. If you like The Princess Bride, you should read As You Wish. I also read a book called The Girl with the Louding Voice, and this is set in 21st century Nigeria. We follow a 14-year-old girl who lives in a very poor community, and her father sells her into a marriage because he needs money. And she's like the third wife in this family, and it's horrible. It's horrible initially. And she escapes and runs away. And then she basically becomes like an indentured servant to a family in the capital. And all this girl wants is to go to school. All she wants is an education. That is her goal. And it's the story of all of the things she goes through, the trauma and the abuse, but the determination that she has to meet that goal. And in the end, the story does have a good ending, but it's a heartbreaking story. And it's heartbreaking because it's reality for a lot of girls still today. But really good read. So The Girl with the Louding Voice. And then I read a book called The Only Woman in the Room. And it's the story of, what's her name? Hedy Lamarr? I think that's her first name. So actress in the 40s and 50s. But she was actually born in Austria under a different name. And she was married to, I can't remember the name now. But he was known as the Merchant of Death. So he sold weapons to like everybody, the Nazis and the Italians, and not a good guy. But she overheard a lot, and her background was that her family was actually Jewish. And she escaped that marriage, came to America, reinvented herself, became a Hollywood actress. But she also was brilliant, and she invented several things that could have made a huge difference in the war. And patented several inventions over time, and it's just it was a really fantastic story. So interesting, because I knew the name of the actress, but I didn't know this whole backstory behind her. So those were really good books that I read, but I felt really pleased with getting 7 books done, considering some of them were on the longer side. So February goals. A couple of them. First of all, this is going to be a no credit card month. Working on paying down some credit cards that got built up a little bit over the holidays. And part of doing that is to not add anything to them. To help with that, I have taken all of our credit cards, and put them all in the safe where they're not easily accessible. And then I went on to all of the websites where like card data, is saved for easy purchase, like the grocery store or like Amazon. And I took off all of the cards. Didn't just like deselect them as the primary card. I just deleted the information. So that way, if I'm like on Amazon, there's no option except to put a purchase on my debit card and make sure that I have the cash to pay for it. So kind of similar to that idea of like putting the diet soda where it's inconvenient, putting the credit cards where they're inconvenient. So no adding anything to any of them this month. And then the second goal is to work on a quilt, because I am really wanting to try to do things this month that will just make me feel happy. That's why I was talking about doing the seed starts and going outside, and quilting makes me feel happy. I did some quilting gifts for Christmas, but this quilt will be for home, because other than the quilt I made my daughter, I've never actually made a quilt that I've kept. They've all been given away, and I just want to make something beautiful to throw in my bed for spring and summer. So I'm gonna have some fun with that. And then I guess kind of a third goal is I want to finish Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy. Those are the books that I want to finish in my Bible reading. All right, so it's a crazy mixed bag of goals for February, but if I had to kind of like sum it up, I'm really looking to work on things that I feel like are going to help with my mood and my mental health. Like, so many of these things are designed to help relieve my stress. Even though it's a goal, like it's something I need to work to achieve, the process of achieving that goal is going to help me feel calmer. It's going to help lower my anxiety. It's going to brighten up my mood. These are all things that I'm focusing on that I know I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy the journey. And I think we just need that in the middle of these winter months for sure. So let me know down in the comments, what kind of things are you working on in the month of February? Are there things that I can help provide encouragement to you for, or is there anything that I can be praying for you about? Let us know. If you enjoy goal videos, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up before you go. And as always, I appreciate you guys being here. Have a great day, everybody. See you in the next video.